Okay, we'll start with this, what has fast become one of the more popular segments here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail. My previous video, I talked about the potentiality of a Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez fight because Asuka wants to make it. Somewhere in there, I let it out that I don't really like Teofimo Lopez as a person or as a fighter, and Myla Sadiq didn't like that.
I think it's Miles Sadiq.
Oh, Miles, like Miles Davis, Miles Morales. I get it. Well, Miles Sadiq said, the hate for Teo is real.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
No one can argue that Lopez was the only fighter to sell the Times Square card.
No one's trying to argue that. Just seems like a straw man, like you're trying to start an argument about something else.
Oh, he sold the Times Square show. By doing what? By doing what exactly? I remember in the buildup of the Times Square show, he was taking a lot of shots at Devin Haney. He spent more time on Devin Haney and talking about Devin Haney than talking about the guy he was actually fighting, Arnold Barboza. Is that what you mean when you say that he sold the Times Square show, blubbering about a guy that he wasn't even fighting?
Pointless banter?
So that afterwards, when Turkey LL Sheik tries to make the fight between him and Devin Haney, Teofimo walks away. Teofimo doesn't fight. And you're wondering why people don't like him? Why, in your opinion, people hate him? It's not really a secret that they do. The why is what differs. Some people don't like Teofimo because of his veiled bigotry.
Because he's a bigot.
Some people don't like him because he's always trying to sound mysterious and profound, like he's some kind of philosopher.
Get a load of Socrates over here.
Some people don't like him, other people don't like him because it seems like he's a pain in the ass. Granted that he's got two very good wins over two very good fighters in Vasyl Lomachenko and Tosh Jailer. But those two wins are spread apart a 5-year period.
Fine.
This is the same guy who turned down a fight with Subriel Matias, and this is the same guy who just walked away from a fight with Devin Haney. I mean, if Turkey LL Sheik and all the money that he's paying fighters, if that's not enough to get you in the ring with Devin, I don't think Turkey is the problem. I think you're the problem.
So the hate is real? You're damn right the hate is real.
There's plenty of reasons to. What do you want we should do, Miles? You want we should turn Teofimo over and rub his belly?
Give him cuddles?
What do you want? You're getting upset that a stranger online said they don't like Teofimo as a fighter and they don't like him as a person. I mean, am I supposed to? Is it written somewhere that I gotta like this douchebag?
Fuck him.
I don't like him. I don't have to. It's a free country. It's what makes the United States. The United States.
Oh, yes.
I don't do what other boxing fans do because I'm not like other boxing fans. I've been watching this sport long enough that I don't get too attached to the fighters. Any fighter, really.
I don't get enamored with him like you guys do.
It's very simple, really. The fighters are intended to provide tonight's entertainment, and I can't say that I've been at all entertained by Teofimo's shenanigans, inside or outside of the ring.
Nope.
I can't say that I find it at all amusing that he chooses to present himself as some kind of a bigot.
He's an idiot.
The entire purpose of the heel turn and turning into a heel is so that translates into dollars, so that translates into money. The logic being that whether they pay to see you lose or they pay to see you win, either way they pay you. But who's supposed to pay to see Teofimo when he's not fighting? He just walked away from a Devin Haney fight. So why turn heel? Why even do it?
He's an idiot.
And you're mad at me that I don't like him? Oh, the hate! The hate is real! It's not even hate. Because it's not even that deep. It's never gonna be that deep when it comes to boxing. It's just entertainment. Calm down.
Relax.
The fact of the matter is, it's not that I don't like Teofimo enough, it's that you like him too much.
You want to look past all those glaring character flaws. Be my guest, but don't expect the rest of the world to join you.
That's a you problem.
You.
That's a you thing.
You.
That's between you,
You.
God, and your therapist. And Teofimo's, because he needs one.
Fuck him.
Now, as it pertains to Arnold Barboza, the last guy who Teofimo Lopez fought, Arnold says it's time to move up to welterweight. On the heels of his first professional loss and years of campaigning at 140, he now wants to move up to 147. Arnold Barboza Jr. has indicated that the welterweight division is likely in his future. Barboza, 32-1, with 11 knockouts, most recently lost a 12-round unanimous decision to Teofimo Lopez Jr. at junior welterweight May 2nd in Times Square, New York City. After spending 12 years campaigning at 140, the 33-year-old Barboza of South El Monte, California, is prepared to move up if the circumstances call for it.
He really shit the bed. He spent, 2-3 years calling for a Teofimo Lopez fight so that when he gets it, he stinks out the joint.
This guy's got an ice grill like Danny Trejo in Desperado, but when he's actually in the ring and the opening bell sounds, he's not a killer, he's a thinking man's fighter. If we get a title shot at junior welter, I will stay there, but most likely I will move up to welter, Barboza Jr. told Boxing Scene. I've been at 140 my entire career. It's time to move up. Barboza believes he would be faster and simply better at welter after a hectic schedule that saw him fight 3 times in 6 months. First came his win over Jose Ramirez last November, then an interim WB Junior welterweight title win over Kat Jadderall 3 months later, and finally, the loss to Lopez in May. I did 9 months of training and fights straight, with only 3 weeks of rest, Barboza said. I left boxing for a whole month and a half. I was focused on my family, but now I'm back. Barboza, who signed with Golden Boy Promotions in November of 2023, has fought 5 times under the promoter's banner. Before being signed by Golden Boy, Barboza spent the majority of his formative years as a professional with Top Rank. Hopefully I get back in the ring this year, Barboza said. I hope to fight in October or November. Provided that he's still with Golden Boy Promotions, Virgil Ortiz is said to be returning right around that time. So maybe Arnold can return on that undercard. Arnold has never been a particularly exciting fighter to watch when he was on Top Rank. Now that he's on Golden Boy, he's not an action guy. He is a thinking man's fighter, a boxer at his very best.
He wants to move up to welterweight because he's getting on in age. He's already spent a lot of time at 140. I don't imagine that weight is getting easier to make. His rationale is, in moving up to 147, the camps won't be as difficult, the weight cuts, and he'll be able to bring more to a fight. Where does he fit into the gene pool at 147?
It's not a deep pool. You're talking about Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Mario Barrios. That's what's up there. A 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
That's what's up there.
The welterweight division has seen better days where virtually anything would be an upgrade from its current state. So if Arnold is now thinking about going up there, I guess he'll fit right in. There's not that much to worry about.
Not really.
Who can he fight upon his return? Well, provided that he is still with Golden Boy, I guess he could fight Regis Prograis. Regis's fight yesterday with Jojo Diaz was fought just above 140 at 142. It would seem that Regis has also moved up to welter, so maybe you could do a fight between Regis and Arnold. We'll see how he makes out once he gets up there.
What numbers do you foresee for this Crawford Canelo since it's being promoted by Dana TKO? It'll be on Netflix. Does it even compare with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, or was that an anomaly?
That was an anomaly because it was Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but I think this will be big. This will be big for boxing. And believe me, they're going to stack the undercard and they're going to pull out all the stops from a marketing standpoint. This is going to be good for boxing. This is going to be big for boxing. And it's one of those true 50-50 fights. Everyone everyone's going to argue over who's going to win. And it's going to be good for boxing as far as, the getting it out there, bringing it to the next generation, the next level as far as, getting Netflix and more involved with boxing.
That was Larry Goldberg, who passed through the Boxing Voice this past weekend to share his thoughts on what he thinks this fight will do and what effect it might have. Personally, I don't think it'll do better numbers than Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson because, well, it's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson is quite literally one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet, to the point that he's transcended boxing and he is a cultural icon.
An iconoclast, and I don't know that Canelo and Crawford can deliver to Netflix those same numbers, which were robust. But even if they don't quite hit the mark, I still think this is going to be big.
It doesn't have to do the exact same numbers as Tyson versus Paul for it to be successful or for it to be big. Remember that everybody's got Netflix.
Everybody.
All around the world.
And I say it all the time that Netflix is to this era what terrestrial networks like Channel 4 and Channel 5 and Channel 7 were to the previous one, because they have that size audience. They have that kind of reach, and in that way, there's a lot riding on this fight, irrespective of who wins, whether it's Canelo or Crawford. That's what the boxing fans are spending all of their time on, when there is more at stake here than just their professional reputations. Boxing's reputation as a product is also on the line, because if you're getting together two of the very best guys in the sport, and given what Turkey's paying them, they gotta deliver you something back. And if they can't,
numbers.
They have to deliver you the numbers. This is not tucked away behind a paywall. This is not being billed as a pay-per-view, so that's no excuse. It's being made available to all existing Netflix subscribers, just like the Tyson versus Paul fight, just like the Serrano versus Taylor trilogy.
I think the numbers for this fight will fall somewhere in between the numbers for those two fights, in between the Taylor versus Serrano numbers and the Tyson versus Paul numbers.
On the high end. It's important to get a platform the size of a Netflix more involved in the world of boxing. It is at a time where ESPN looks to have walked away, and before that, it was Showtime, before that, it was Fox, and before them, it was NBC.
HBO.
It's important that boxing advertise itself better to a platform like Netflix, because if Netflix makes an investment in boxing,
that's good for everybody. That's good for the people in boxing. That's good for me and you.
The sport as a whole, the sport overall. You often hear me talk about how boxing being relegated to just premium cable networks caused the audience to shrink over time. Premium cable networks never had the same reach as terrestrial networks.
So boxing ending up on cable, or most of the boxing ending up on cable, that wasn't actually a good thing.
But that is where most of the boxing in America ended up. It ended up on cable, basic cable, premium cable, and not everybody in America had cable, especially now that cable networks aren't even what they used to be. Streaming is all the rage. More and more Americans are cutting the cord, moving away from cable and subscribing only to the platforms they know they're gonna watch.
Conventional cable networks may become a thing of the past, like Woolworth,
Blockbuster Video, Tower Records, Virgin, Megastore, Circuit City.
all relics of times long since past, and that may happen to conventional cable networks.
So with what was ESPN's departure from the sport about a week ago, there were so many people in boxing making light of that, and how many major networks have walked away from the sport and closed their doors. But I didn't see anybody mention that it's not just the boxing story. Overall, the networks themselves aren't what they used to be, and they may not be the most hospitable terrain for boxing as a sport anymore. Enter Netflix.
They've got a bigger megaphone than what used to be Showtime, than what still is ESPN. That's what makes them a potential game changer, and that's what makes their interest in boxing,
Their interest in broadcasting live sport, a potential game changer for all of us, and not just us, but the fighters, their managers, their promoters. Netflix has a bigger megaphone than most, if not every other platform that is out there. So this Canelo versus Crawford fight, it's an advertisement. It's an advertisement for boxing to them.
It's an advertisement for boxing as a product.
They've already staged 2 boxing events so far, so their interest, it may be growing. It may be building. Beyond staging the occasional big fight with the big names, they may have a growing interest in staging boxing matches on their platform on a regular basis.
Why? Why would their interest be growing?
When you do a big fight, like a Paul versus Tyson, or a Crawford versus Canelo, you're gonna get an uptick, you're gonna get a bump in viewership, a lot more traffic to your platform. But after the event is over, things go back to normal and everything levels out. Well, how do you maintain that? How do you sustain it?
That's what all these platforms are interested in. Sustained viewership over a period of time. Not just for a night, not just for a fight, but over time.
Well, how do you maintain that? How do you sustain it?
Technology.
More live sport, i.e. more boxing on a regular basis, on a regular schedule throughout a calendar year. Taylor vs. Serrano 3 brought the Netflix platform somewhere in between 3 and 4 million, I think it was, and that was a women's boxing match, an all-women's boxing card. So just imagine what a couple of guys might bring in. A couple of guys that are also familiar faces.
Maybe they do that, maybe they do more.
Netflix's subscriber base is big enough, it's available in enough homes that almost any boxing match could draw a lot of eyes to it, with the added appeal for the consumer that they don't have to pay extra, they don't have to pay per view, adding to that problem.
How many times have we talked about too many fighters being behind too many paywalls?
Many times have you already heard me say that sports are at their biggest and they're at their best when they are more accessible to the common man. Accessibility is the issue that needs to be addressed here. And Netflix,
They've got access to over 300 million homes around the world.
so if it is their intention to regularly stage live sporting events, staging boxing matches, that wouldn't cost them nothing. That's a drop in the bucket to a platform as big as a Netflix, and that's what makes this a game changer. That's what makes Crawford versus Canelo a more important fight than even the boxing fans realize. It doesn't actually matter who wins.
It only matters that it's entertaining. It only matters that it delivers something to the consumer that leaves them wanting more.
So that then Netflix wants more boxing and more live sport on their platform. Let's hope that Canelo and Crawford can provide some thrills, some spills. Let's hope that they put on a show. I myself don't actually care who wins.
There is a component in this fight that has led to a rise in tribalism. Black American fans rooting for the Black American fighter, Mexican fans rooting for the Mexican fighter. That's all that matters to them.
But there is more at stake here than just your identity politics, for lack of a better word. A fight this size, that costs this much, on a platform this big, is an advertisement for boxing itself. Boxing is a product.
Whether or not it's worth investing more money in.
It's a big deal. And the future is digital. Just imagine Top Rank's good fortune if now that they are in between broadcasters, they're lucky enough to land on a Netflix. What a game changer that would be.
One way or another, it's a story that only time can tell.